Ladies and gentlemen, life is a lot like the changing seasons. It doesn't stand still. It doesn't wait for anyone. It moves cold to warm, dark to light, challenge to opportunity, and back again. And just like the farmer must learn to work with the soil and the weather, we must learn to work with the seasons of our own lives. Because life doesn't promise to get easier, it promises to change. And if you can understand these changes, if you can adapt, prepare, and grow through them, you'll never be the same again. Winter is the time when life tests the strength of your roots. It's the season that doesn't ask if you're ready, it simply arrives. The wind grows colder, the nights feel longer, and everything that once seemed easy now feels uncertain. But the purpose of winter is not to destroy, it's to reveal. Winter reveals who has prepared and who has merely hoped. It separates those who relied on comfort from those who built character. Everyone faces winters. The seasons of life don't skip anyone. There are winters in business when customers disappear, sales slow down, and nothing seems to move. There are winters in relationships when misunderstanding, distance, or loss create coldness between people who once shared warmth. There are winters in personal growth when your confidence fades, your plans crumble, and you wonder if all your effort has been in vain. But here's the truth. Winter doesn't last forever. The same way nature eventually brings spring, life will bring a new beginning too. The challenge is to endure winter without losing your faith, because what you do in winter determines how strong you'll be when spring comes. Jim Rohn used to say, "It's not what happens that determines your life's future, it's what you do about what happens." Winter happens to everyone, but how you respond to it defines you. Some people complain, curse the cold, and wish for a different season. Others get to work. They build fires. They seek wisdom. They grow thicker skin. They keep walking even when the road is covered in snow. Winter is a season of preparation and perspective. It asks you to step back and look at what you've been building. Maybe the storm revealed a weak foundation. Maybe the crops failed because the soil was poor. That's not a punishment. It's feedback. It's life giving you a quiet moment to reflect and say, next time I'll do it better. The truth is, no one escapes hardship. Life was never designed to be easy. It was designed to help us grow through struggle. You'll never discover how much strength you really have until it's the only thing keeping you standing. Winters come to teach resilience, to remind you that warmth isn't found outside, it's found within. Think of a farmer. He knows that after every harvest, winter will come. He doesn't panic when the snow falls or when the fields go bare. He understands the rhythm of life. He uses the winter to sharpen his tools, repair his fences, plan his next planting season, and rest his body for the work ahead. That's wisdom. That's what we must learn too. When things fall apart, don't fall apart with them. When the world grows silent, use the silence to rebuild your inner strength. Use this time to study, to think, to plan, to grow mentally and emotionally. Because while most people complain about the cold, the wise are quietly preparing for spring. You might lose things during winter, opportunities, people, dreams that didn't work out. It hurts. But don't forget, what's lost can be replaced, and what's learned can never be taken from you. That's why winters are never wasted, unless you waste them yourself. The purpose of the cold is to make you strong enough for the heat of success. If you can survive the winter, you can handle any summer. That's the hidden blessing of adversity. It builds endurance. It's easy to stay positive when the sun is shining and everything goes your way. But it's in the harsh, cold nights that your inner character takes shape. Sometimes winter isolates you. You'll notice people disappearing when things go wrong. You'll notice silence where there was once applause. That's okay. Winter doesn't take away what you need. It takes away what you don't. It strips life down to its essentials. And what's left after winter passes is what truly matters. Your discipline, your courage, your values, your belief in yourself, and your connection with what's real. Remember, you can't change the season, but you can change yourself to meet the season. If winter demands patience, learn patience. If it demands faith, strengthen your faith. If it demands skill, develop the skill. The problem isn't that life gets hard. The problem is that most people don't get tougher. In winter, don't wish for an easier path. Wish for stronger feet. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more wisdom. Every difficulty you face now is preparing you for a new level of strength and clarity. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Many people let the cold freeze their motivation. They stop trying, stop believing, stop showing up. But remember, the same winter that kills the weak strengthens the strong. The same storm that wipes away the unprepared builds endurance in the prepared. The same cold that discourages some awakens the fire in others. When you're going through your personal winter, remind yourself this is temporary. The sun will shine again. Opportunities will return. Life will warm up. The key is to keep moving, even when it's uncomfortable. Because if you quit in winter, you'll never experience the harvest of autumn. Jim Rohn often said, life and business are like the seasons. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. That's the message of winter. Change yourself. Learn the lessons. Strengthen your discipline. Build your inner resources. Because when spring comes, and it always does, you'll be ready to plant better seeds in better soil with better habits. Look at history. Every great person you admire has faced their own winters, times of defeat, loss, or isolation. They didn't skip the struggle, they grew through it. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before the light bulb. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison before becoming a symbol of peace. Even nature itself proves that death leads to rebirth. The tree loses its leaves, but not its roots. So if you're in winter right now, don't lose heart. This is your season to grow invisible roots. This is when your strength is built in silence, when your character is shaped in solitude. The world might not see it, but something powerful is happening beneath the surface. And when the time is right, those roots will push through, and you'll rise stronger than ever. Don't rush the process. Winters are not meant to be escaped. They're meant to be experienced. Embrace the lessons, face the silence, and trust that the same hand that brings the frost will also bring the spring. And one day when you look back, you'll realize the cold didn't break you. It built you. The darkness didn't defeat you. It defined you. The storm didn't destroy your path. It redirected it toward something better. So be grateful for your winters, because those who learn to thrive in the cold never fear the seasons again. Spring is the most beautiful promise life ever makes. It's the soft turning of the world. After the hard chill of winter, a quiet reminder that nothing stays frozen forever. It's the time when life whispers, here's your second chance. In the seasons of life, spring represents opportunity, renewal, and hope. It's the time when the ground of your past is ready to receive the seeds of your future. The snow melts, the air warms, and suddenly what looked barren begins to show signs of green again. But the greatest tragedy of spring is that it doesn't last forever. You must recognize it when it comes and act before it slips away. Every person is given springs in life, moments when opportunity appears, sometimes small and quiet, other times bold and obvious. A new job offer, a new connection, a fresh idea, a moment of courage. The problem is that most people don't see them because they're still staring at the winter that passed. They're busy complaining about what went wrong instead of planting what could go right. And that's the danger of spring. It requires awareness. You have to be awake enough to notice that the ground is soft again. Jim Rohn said springtime is the season of opportunity, but the window is short. The farmer knows this truth well. When the frost fades and the soil loosens, he doesn't waste time thinking about last year's failed crops. He picks up his tools and gets to work. He knows that delay in spring means hunger in autumn. That's the same principle for life. When opportunity knocks, answer quickly. When ideas come, capture them. When the door opens, walk through it. Procrastination is the thief of the harvest. Spring is the time to plant, not to talk about planting, not to dream about planting, but to actually plant. Many people spend their springs talking about what they'll do someday. Someday they'll start that business. Someday they'll change their habits. Someday they'll take that risk. But spring doesn't wait for someday. It waits for the willing. And those who plant generously in spring are those who reap abundantly in autumn. Life rewards action, not intention. There's a unique energy in spring. The energy of new beginnings. You feel it when you decide to start again after failure, when you finally let go of resentment, when you dare to hope again after disappointment. Spring teaches us that no matter how harsh your winter was, there's always another chance to grow. The world outside may seem to just be changing colors, but inside you, a quiet revolution is possible. All it takes is a decision to begin again. But with every spring comes risk. Not every seed you plant will grow. Not every opportunity will work out. Some ideas will fail. Some people will disappoint you. Some plans will crumble. But that's okay. The farmer doesn't expect every seed to take root. He plants more than he expects to harvest. Why? Because he understands that growth is a game of faith and persistence. So don't fear failure. Fear inaction, because failure teaches you, but inaction robs you of even the chance to learn. Spring is the time to sow habits that your future self will thank you for. It's when you replace old excuses with new routines. It's when you take what you learned during winter and turn it into wisdom. Maybe winter taught you patience. Maybe it taught you humility. Maybe it broke your pride or shook your comfort zone. Use that learning now. Apply it. If you've spent your winter growing roots of wisdom, then spring is your moment to let those roots produce fruit. You'll notice that spring doesn't announce itself with perfection. It comes gradually. A little sunlight here, a sprout there. That's how opportunity works too. It rarely shouts. It whispers. It tests your ability to notice. The person who pays attention to life's smallest signs of possibility is the one who reaps the largest rewards. The truth is, most opportunities hide behind work. They disguise themselves as challenges, problems, or extra effort. So if you only look for easy opportunities, you'll miss the real ones. Spring asks for your effort before it gives its gifts. Think of your own life as a garden. You can plant seeds of health, seeds of learning, seeds of kindness, seeds of discipline. Every thought, every action, every decision you make is a seed going into the ground of your future. Some will sprout quickly, others will take months or years, but they will grow as long as you keep watering them. That's why you must choose your seeds carefully. Don't plant doubt and expect confidence. Don't plant laziness and expect achievement. Don't plant negativity and expect joy. You can't plant weeds and hope for flowers. Spring doesn't just happen outside, it happens in your heart. It's the time to forgive, to dream again, to reconnect with what matters most. It's a time to remove the bitterness and plant gratitude instead, to replace fear with faith, excuses with effort, hesitation with courage. This is your season to act boldly, to say, I'm going to make this year different, because the difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't luck, it's what they choose to plant when spring arrives. Many people stand in the fields of life waiting for harvest without ever planting anything. They expect results without effort, progress without persistence, reward without work. But life doesn't work that way. The law of the harvest is unbreakable. You reap what you sow. The person who plants effort reaps growth. The one who plants excuses reaps regret. The one who plants faith reaps opportunity. So ask yourself, what am I planting this spring? Because the seeds you plant now will determine your autumn later. Spring is also the season of faith. When you plant a seed, you don't see results immediately. You bury it in the ground, water it, protect it, and wait. That's the hardest part. Believing in something you can't see yet. But that's what faith is, trusting the process when there's no proof. If you give up too soon, you'll never know how close you were to growth. Don't dig up your seeds just because you don't see progress in a week. Give them time. Nurture them. Keep your focus. Keep your energy on what you want to create. Jim Rohn once said, Take advantage of the spring. Don't miss it. And he was right, because there are people who wait their whole lives for another spring, not realizing it's already here. Every morning you wake up with energy. You have a spring. Every time you get another chance, that's a spring. Every idea, every spark, every conversation that inspires you, it's all a form of spring, but it's fleeting. The window is small. Those who hesitate lose it to those who act. Spring is a season of courage. It's for those who are willing to try again after failure. It's for those who decide that the past won't define the future. It's for the ones who understand that opportunities are like seeds. They don't look like much in the beginning, but if you take care of them, they'll transform your life. So when life gives you your spring, when a new door opens, when your heart stirs again, when inspiration hits, don't stand still. Move, act, plant something meaningful. Even if it's small, even if you're uncertain, plant it anyway. Because what you begin now, even if it seems invisible, has the power to change everything later. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. That's the magic of spring. It doesn't demand perfection, only participation. All you have to do is begin. Begin with what you have, where you are, and watch how life responds. Because spring doesn't bless the dreamer. It blesses the doer. The earth is always turning, and so is your life. Don't let this spring pass you by. Open your eyes, open your hands, and plant with faith, with effort, and with purpose. Because someday when autumn comes, you'll look back on this season with gratitude and say, that's when everything changed, because I decided to plant. Summer is the season when the real work begins. It's the time when what you've planted in spring starts to show life, when tiny green shoots push their way through the soil, fragile but full of promise. It's the moment of excitement, of hope, of visible progress. Yet, summer is also the most demanding of all the seasons, because while it brings warmth and light, it also brings weeds, pests, and storms. It tests how much you're willing to protect what you've started. Summer asks the question, will you nurture your dream or will you neglect it? The truth about summer is that it doesn't give results, it gives responsibility. It's the season where you must tend to what you've begun. You must water the plants, remove the weeds, and shield your garden from the things that threaten to destroy it. Just as in life, after you've planted your goals, after you've begun your journey, you'll face distractions, obstacles, and temptations. People will doubt you, circumstances will challenge you, and you'll be tempted to relax because things seem to be going well. But summer is not the time to relax, it's the time to stay disciplined. In spring, enthusiasm starts the journey. In summer, discipline sustains it. This is the time to show consistency, to wake up early even when you're tired, to keep learning even when you feel like you already know enough. It's the time when your habits either strengthen your foundation or slowly erode it. Summer doesn't reward quick bursts of effort, it rewards steady, daily commitment. The person who tends to their garden every day, even for a few minutes, will see more growth than the one who works hard only when inspiration strikes. Summer brings sunlight, and sunlight brings growth, but growth brings new challenges. When your dream starts to take shape, it attracts both positive and negative attention. Just as plants attract insects in the heat, success attracts criticism and competition. People might question your choices, your methods, or your worth. Some might try to discourage you, intentionally or not. This is the time to remember why you started. The weeds of doubt and negativity can choke your growth if you don't remove them quickly. Guard your mind the way a farmer guards his crops. Jim Rohn often said, all good will be attacked. He was right. Every worthwhile dream faces resistance. Every sincere effort faces opposition. But don't let that surprise you. It's part of the natural order. Weeds don't grow because the farmer did something wrong. They grow because that's what weeds do. The same goes for negativity, failure, and setbacks. They're inevitable. Your job is not to eliminate every challenge, but to manage them, to protect your progress so it can continue to grow. Summer is also a season of maintenance. It's not as exciting as spring or as rewarding as autumn, but it's necessary. This is the time when success becomes a routine rather than an event. The best performers, leaders, and thinkers understand this principle. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your discipline. Motivation may have gotten you started, but discipline keeps you growing when the excitement fades. Many people lose their harvest in summer, not because they didn't plant, but because they stopped caring for what they planted. They let laziness creep in. They thought, it's going well, I can take it easy now. That's the danger of summer comfort. It feels good, but it's deceptive. Growth requires constant attention. You must feed your goals, nurture your relationships, and continue improving yourself even when everything looks fine, because complacency is the silent killer of success. Think of summer as the test of character. Can you stay consistent when things are comfortable? Can you keep pushing when no one is watching? Can you maintain your focus when distractions multiply? Those who can master not just their craft, but their destiny, because consistency is more powerful than intensity. Small, repeated actions done daily produce massive results over time. In the season of summer, protect your mental garden. Watch what you feed your mind. Negative news, toxic people, and endless distractions can drain your focus. Instead, surround yourself with positivity, inspiration, and purpose. Read good books, listen to great mentors, spend time with those who lift you higher. If you want strong crops, you need good soil. If you want strong results, you need a healthy mindset. Summer also teaches patience. Growth doesn't happen overnight. The farmer doesn't dig up the seeds to check if they're growing. He trusts the process. You have to trust that the work you're doing now will bear fruit later. You won't see results every day, but that doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Growth is silent. The most important things, character, skill, resilience, develop beneath the surface. Just because you can't see the change doesn't mean it's not there. Stay faithful to the process, and the results will appear in their time. The heat of summer can be exhausting. There will be moments when you feel tired, overworked, or tempted to quit. That's normal. Every journey has moments when you question if it's worth it. But remember, fatigue is part of growth. You're not just growing your results, you're growing your capacity. You're training yourself to handle more, to endure more, to achieve more. When it feels heavy, remind yourself, this is the weight that builds strength. Summer also calls for balance. While discipline is crucial, burnout is not the goal. Even the best farmers rest occasionally, but they rest with intention. They know when to pause and when to push. So learn to take care of your body, mind, and spirit. Rest is part of nurturing. It allows you to return with clarity and strength. Don't confuse rest with laziness. Rest refuels purpose, while laziness drains it. In this season, gratitude is a powerful companion. It keeps you humble and focused. Be thankful for the progress you've made, even if it's small. Be grateful for the challenges. They're signs that you're growing. Gratitude keeps your heart light in the heat of effort. It reminds you that everything you have now was once something you wished for. There's also an important lesson in timing. In summer, you can't rush the harvest. No matter how much you want the fruits to ripen, they need time. The same applies to your goals. Some results come quickly, others take longer. Don't compare your timeline with someone else's. Everyone's garden grows at its own pace. Trust yours, nurture it with care, and it will reward you when the season turns. Jim Rohn said, "Take care of your crops all summer. Guard them with your life. For as sure as you planted, the weeds will try to take over." This is your reminder to guard your dreams fiercely. Protect them from negativity, from laziness, from fear. Defend your habits. Keep your standards high, because whatever you neglect now will cost you later. Summer is the season that separates the committed from the casual. It's easy to start something. It's much harder to keep it alive. But that's what makes the difference. The summer worker becomes the autumn harvester. The summer dreamer becomes the lifelong achiever. So, tend to your life daily, with care, with attention, with pride, because what you nurture now will feed you later. When the sun feels too hot and the work feels too long, remember why you began. Look at how far you've come since winter. Look at the seeds that are now plants alive because you believed in them. Every drop of sweat, every moment of effort, every hour of persistence is shaping your future. Don't stop now. You're building something beautiful. And one day when the air begins to cool and the days grow shorter, you'll look at your field and smile. You'll know that your summer of effort was worth it, because those who take care of their garden in summer are the ones who celebrate abundance in autumn. And when that day comes, you'll realize that the work, the weariness, and the warmth were all part of the journey of becoming someone who never quits, no matter the season. Autumn is the season of truth. It's the time when life shows you exactly what your choices have created. The waiting, the work, the patience, all of it now begins to reveal its results. Autumn is both celebration and examination. It brings joy to the diligent and regret to the careless. It's when the farmer walks into his fields and sees the outcome of what he did in every season before. In spring he planted. In summer he protected. And now in autumn he receives. That's how life works too. You don't get in autumn what you wish for. You get what you worked for. The law of the harvest cannot be cheated. There's something deeply honest about this season. Autumn doesn't lie. It gives back exactly what was sown. Nothing more, nothing less. If you've invested effort, discipline, and faith, this is the time you start to taste the sweetness of results. If you've been careless, distracted, or lazy, this is the time you face the consequences. And that's not punishment, it's principle. The seasons don't play favorites, they reward preparation. The same soil, the same rain, the same sun fall on everyone. The difference lies in how each person used them. Jim Rohn often said, everyone must face one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Autumn reveals which one you chose. Discipline is hard, but it produces reward. Neglect is easy, but it produces disappointment. Autumn teaches that you can't borrow someone else's harvest. You can't buy growth with excuses or replace effort with complaints. What you hold in your hands now is the direct reflection of what you held in your heart months ago. It's a mirror season, honest, humbling, and deeply fair. When autumn arrives, some rejoice while others wish for one more spring. But the wise know that wishing changes nothing. If you find yourself without much to harvest, don't despair. Learn, reflect on what went wrong, what could have been done differently, and use that knowledge to plant better in the next cycle. That's the beauty of life. It always gives another chance, but only to those humble enough to learn from their previous seasons. Failure is not final when it becomes fertilizer for wisdom. Every lost crop, every mistake, every missed opportunity is a lesson in disguise. Autumn is also a season of gratitude. It's easy to take your blessings for granted when they're abundant, but the person who stops to appreciate their harvest will find joy far beyond material success. Gratitude turns results into meaning. It reminds you that no harvest happens alone. The rain had its role, the sun had its role, the soil had its role, and so did the people who supported, encouraged, and believed in you when the fields were still empty. Take time to appreciate those who helped you through your seasons. A grateful heart keeps pride from corrupting success. But autumn also reminds us of impermanence. Just as leaves begin to change color and fall, everything in life passes through cycles. Success, too, has its own rhythm. You may be at the peak of abundance today, but seasons turn. The key is not to cling to your harvest, but to use it wisely. Store what you need, share what you can, and plan for what's next. Because winter always follows autumn, and those who waste their harvest in celebration often face hardship later. Use your blessings with wisdom. Invest your gains. Strengthen your foundation. Prepare for the next winter even while enjoying the abundance of now. The farmer knows that the harvest isn't the end. It's part of the ongoing rhythm of life. He doesn't just celebrate, he evaluates, he studies the yield, the soil, the weather patterns. He thinks about what worked and what didn't. That's the mindset of a wise person too. After every achievement, pause and reflect. What did I do right? Where can I improve? Success without reflection leads to stagnation. Reflection turns success into growth. Autumn is also a time to share. When you've been blessed with plenty, don't hoard it. Give, teach, inspire, help someone else plant their own garden. Generosity multiplies what you have because it strengthens the cycle of life. What you give returns to you in unexpected ways. The harvest isn't just about material abundance, it's about spiritual abundance too. You harvest peace when you plant kindness. You harvest respect when you plant integrity. You harvest fulfillment when you plant purpose. The richest harvests are not seen in barns but felt in hearts. In this season, pride can be your biggest enemy. When results come, it's tempting to believe it was all you're doing. But remember, no one succeeds alone. There were mentors, experiences, and even adversities that shaped your journey. A humble heart protects your success. Arrogance blinds you to the next opportunity. Stay grounded. The higher your branches grow, the deeper your roots must remain. Sometimes autumn brings surprises. You may harvest more than you expected, or less. You may find that what you planted grew into something slightly different. That's life. The results you get are not always identical to the vision you began with, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. Maybe the dream changed. Maybe you changed, and what you've received now is exactly what you needed, even if it's not what you imagined. Trust the process. Life's timing and outcomes often carry hidden wisdom. Autumn also brings closure. It's the end of a cycle. The fields that once demanded constant care now rest. This is the time to slow down, to enjoy what you've earned, and to restore your energy. Too many people rush past their victories, always chasing the next goal. But celebration is a part of growth. You must learn to enjoy your rewards without guilt, to breathe, to be still, to acknowledge how far you've come. Let your soul rest before you begin again. There's a quiet magic in autumn evenings. The air cools, the sky deepens, and there's a golden stillness that seems to whisper wisdom. It says, "You've done well, you've survived, you've grown." That's what life is about, not perfection, but progress through each season. Whether your harvest is large or small, take pride in the fact that you stayed through the winters, planted in the springs, and worked in the summers. You stayed faithful to the process when many gave up. That alone is a victory. Autumn is also the time to forgive yourself for past mistakes. If you didn't get the results you hoped for, it's okay. Every season is both teacher and test. What matters most is that you've learned. The person who keeps learning never truly loses. The person who blames and complains repeats the same cycle. Let go of the guilt of past seasons. Carry forward only the wisdom, because the next cycle begins soon, and what you carry into it determines what you'll receive from it. Jim Rohn once said, "The soil says, don't bring me your need, bring me your seed." Autumn reminds us that life gives according to what we've given. So, if you want a different harvest next time, change what you plant, how you plant, and how you nurture it. The seasons are generous to those who learn and unforgiving to those who don't, but their consistency is a blessing. You always get another chance. As the days shorten and the air grows crisp, let the lessons of autumn sink in. Life is fair. It rewards effort. It responds to attitude. It reflects discipline. Every moment is a seed, every action a planting, every habit a future harvest. And the beauty of it all is that you are always in control of what you sow. So stand in your field with gratitude, humility, and awareness. If your basket is full, give thanks. If it's empty, make a promise. Either way, keep your heart open, your hands ready, and your eyes on the horizon. Because just beyond the fading leaves, another winter waits, a new beginning in disguise. And when that next season arrives, you'll be ready. You'll know that life's rhythm never fails those who understand it. you'll know that every harvest, good or bad, is simply preparation for the next, and that is the greatest wisdom the seasons will ever teach. That endings are never the end, they're the soil of tomorrow's beginnings. Life, in its most profound design, is a series of recurring seasons, each carrying its own lessons, tests, and treasures. When we understand this truth, we stop resisting the cycles and begin flowing with them. The wisdom of the seasons is not about predicting what comes next, but about preparing our hearts and habits to respond wisely when it does. Just as nature shifts from cold to warmth, from growth to rest, our own lives move through phases of challenge, opportunity, nurturing, and reward. Each phase has a purpose. Each is essential for the fullness of growth. The wisdom begins when we stop wishing for perpetual spring or endless harvest. Those who demand constant ease miss the meaning of struggle. Those who only chase results forget the joy of the journey. Life is not meant to be a single season, it's meant to be a cycle of evolution. Winter strengthens your resilience, spring renews your hope, summer tests your consistency, and autumn rewards your persistence. Together they shape your character. Together they prepare you to live with depth and understanding. When winter arrives, the time of difficulty, it invites us to build inner strength. We learn patience, courage, and endurance. The bitter cold teaches us to value warmth, and the darkness teaches us to appreciate the light. Without winter, gratitude cannot bloom. Then comes spring, a season of faith and fresh beginnings. It whispers, try again. It's the time to plant new dreams, to take what you've learned and apply it with renewed optimism. The wise know that spring doesn't promise success. It offers a chance, and chances, when nurtured, become miracles. Summer is when we prove our dedication. The heat represents pressure, and under that pressure we grow stronger. The weeds of distraction, fear, and doubt try to choke our progress, but persistence keeps us moving forward. It's the time to protect what we've planted, to guard our vision, and remain disciplined even when the days feel long and tiring. And finally, autumn arrives. It's not merely a time of harvest, it's a time of reflection, gratitude, and humility. It reminds us that results take time and that effort always matters, even when no one is watching. The seasons are not separate, they are linked. Each prepares you for the next. If you skip the lessons of one, you struggle in the next. If you avoid winter, you enter spring unready. If you neglect your summer duties, your autumn is empty. But if you respect each season, if you face your winters with courage, plant your springs with hope, work your summers with diligence, and celebrate your autumns with gratitude, you live a balanced, meaningful life. That's the ultimate wisdom. The truth is, life will always bring both sunshine and storm. You can't control the weather, but you can control your response. Your attitude determines how you experience each season. Complaining about the cold doesn't make it warmer, and wishing for harvest in spring doesn't make crops grow faster. Growth comes not from control, but from cooperation with life's natural flow. When you embrace this truth, peace replaces frustration. You realize that every season, no matter how difficult, is a gift designed to prepare you for something greater. The secret is not in chasing comfort, it's in cultivating character. Because once your character is strong, every season becomes your ally. Winter becomes your teacher, spring your inspiration, summer your test, and autumn your reward. Together, they shape not just what you achieve, but who you become. That's the heart of Jim Rohn's wisdom. Success is not built in a single season. It's built in the understanding of all four. So wherever you are right now, whether in a cold winter, a hopeful spring, a demanding summer, or a rewarding autumn, remember this, it's all part of your journey. Each season has meaning. Each one contributes to the masterpiece of your life. Embrace them all with faith, gratitude, and perseverance. For those who live in harmony with the seasons never fear the changes. They trust the process, knowing that after every winter, spring always returns.